Boo bitches! Welcome to episode 145 of C3 Crystals, Cauldrons, and Cocktails. Today we're going to be
Whoa,
what?
you didn't say your name.
I'm River.
I was about to be like, who are we today?
Who
I could be
are we
Bob.
today? I am Bubba Joe
Yeah, I'm
today.
Bob. How are y'all? Like, I'm
I
Ren,
am River Kane.
and I'm Ren Graves.
And today we are going to be talking about liminal spaces and liminal witchcraft. We've kind of touched on this topic a little bit in episodes before, but we never really did a deep dive on the whole thing about what liminal stuff is. But first, we want to tell you guys all about our fun weekend that we had last weekend. So
Yes.
our last episode came out and we were like, should we tell them? Should we
We're
not tell them?
going somewhere. Yeah.
And what we did was we went on this haunted cocktail adventure that they
Mm-hmm.
had,
Mm-hmm.
and it was so
It was a
fun.
lot of fun. It was like a little pop-up show.
Mm-hmm,
We went to Athens because that's where it was going to be. We took the drive
mm-hmm,
to Athens. We love a good Athens. We like going downtown. Um,
yep.
we like the drinks.
It was
Um,
so fun. Those drinks were yummy.
it was so much fun, and we went on this little haunted cocktail adventure where we got themed cocktails. We got four of
Mm-hmm,
them. And this was all included in our ticket price. And so
mm-hmm.
got these themed cocktails that were brought to us during the show. And so we had our first cocktail and then told a story, spooky story about the area and just,
Yeah,
myths
it was
and
so
legends about
fun. Yeah,
ghosts and
all
all of
these
that.
ghost stories about Athens in
Yep.
particular.
Yep.
So
And
that
then we
was
got another
very fun.
cocktail and then another story and another cocktail and another story. And it ended on the most delicious cocktail. It was this
Mm-hmm.
like chocolate peanut butter creamy
Oh, it was
mixture. It was very
so
good.
good.
Very good.
Oh,
But we really enjoyed the show. And we came back to Athens because there's a witchy store here in Athens.
mm-hmm.
Now it's not like a witchy store. Excuse
It,
me.
it is
I'm
a
like
witchy
having like
store.
hiccups. It's like a
It's
witchy store, but it's not
it.
advertised as a witchy store, so I don't know if people want to have that if
Oh,
that store wants to have that type of
do you?
connotation to it
I don't
or
have
what.
the title. Indie
Yeah,
something.
it's called Indie South,
Indie South. That's it.
and it is the cutest like little shop full of plants and crystals and just doodads and
Candles,
like hand dipped
tarot cards,
candles. Yeah,
uh, uh,
candles. Wow.
candles.
Anything that you can think of, like crystal, like anything. Incense. I recorded a couple of stuff for TikTok
You
and
did.
I
You
posted
posted
one
it.
earlier this week. I think I posted it around probably like Tuesday or something like that. And so
Today is Tuesday.
yeah, I'm trying to play in that we're not
Oh,
recording on
we're
Tuesday.
recording early.
Yes, but we never usually. So I'm just like,
I know. I
but when this
see.
comes
I
out, it's
see.
on Friday. So people can go, oh, yeah, Tuesday.
It was
Okay, that makes sense.
Tuesday.
On
Never
Tuesday,
mind.
not
Never
today.
mind.
Today's Friday.
Well, you
Okay.
confused me. Okay.
I'm
Okay.
sorry.
I
I
wish it
thought
were
you were picking
Friday.
up on my wink, like, come on,
No,
come on.
I'm brain dead today. This week, okay, so it is Tuesday, and it has been a hell of a week already, and I am so tired. I don't know that I'm going to survive till Friday.
It's fine because our
Eh,
voices do. So
Yeah, our voices will live
our
on. Aren't you all so
voices will,
excited?
yes.
But
But
y'all,
yes,
this witchy
it
shop,
was
this
so
this indie
perfect.
shop,
Yes.
they have parking lot parties. I don't know what
Mm-hmm.
else to call it. Uh at the
Like
third
pop-up
Saturday of every month. And
venue
we told
things.
them that we were witchy podcast, and they're like, oh, you should come record live in our parking lot. So we might have to do that at some point.
This is giving me anxiety because I record in this like the sanctuary of my own home, and now people are going to be staring at me as I talk about what? Like, are you even
But
interested in this?
but
People are going to give me a side eye.
we'll
Am I
talk
funny
with
enough?
them. We'll
Yeah,
talk with them.
yeah, but am I funny enough? Because like I think I'm funny on the podcast and we can laugh at ourselves, but I don't hear anybody who listens like reaction. So I don't know if y'all laugh along or if y'all are just like, that's stupid.
That
Like
was dumb.
y'all can keep it to yourselves, right? But if we're out in public and doing this in public, I can't. I can't. Like if I see one person's face crinkle into like a I'm uncomfortable, I will literally want to
She'll
ball up
cry.
into like
Yeah.
I will shrivel into a little ball and
She'll
be like, I
cry
will never do this
and
again.
I will have to go beat them up and it'll just be a mess.
I know, but I don't want you to beat them up because they just don't like me. Like that's not a valid reason to beat
Well,
somebody
yes, it
up.
is. You're my best friend. So yeah, that is 100% valid. Don't make my friend cry. Don't don't you do it.
I'm just a sensitive little baby. That's all.
And I'm a bitch, so we work well together. Okay, let's get to our topic. We
Okay.
are way off topic.
Okay.
So, what is a liminal space? And we've talked about this before, but let's go into it. The word liminal actually comes from the Latin word lemon, not lemon like Lemon,
I love a
but
good
lemon.
lemon.
I know, me too. Limen, which actually means threshold. And liminal spaces are those that exist at the boundary between two different realms or states. They're often seen as places of power because they're not fully in one place or another place. And so they hold the potential of both places.
Hmm.
Like I think, was it last week we were talking about hedge witches and how the hedge is that liminal space?
I don't
Same
think that
same
was
type
last
of
week.
thing.
That was like
I
two
have
weeks
no
ago. It
idea.
was like two
2 weeks
weeks
ago.
ago. Hmm.
But liminal spaces are these transitional points between two different states of being. It could be physical, times of day, or states of mind. And we'll get into more about that in a little bit.
Yes. So, types of liminal spaces. I feel like we've done a whole episode on this, but when we looked back, we couldn't find anything. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe we just didn't title it
Sorry
properly or
if
whatever.
we are, yeah, and there were in the beginning, we put our funny titles, but we didn't put
Put like the
what
topic
it was
and
about. And so
yeah.
we're reading our titles going, what the hell was that about?
Like, okay. So we might have already done a whole episode, but this is maybe more information, or maybe it's the same information, but maybe you forgot, like how we did.
Maybe
So
we're funnier this
surprise.
time.
Oh, I doubt it.
Surprise.
I doubt it. So types of liminal spaces I think are very interesting. So you have the physical liminal spaces that are
Hmm.
like doorways, thresholds. So this is the space between rooms or between the outside and inside of a building. And then you
Okay.
also have bridges as a physical liminal space, where these are structures that connect two separate areas, whether over water, valleys, roads, whatever it may be, any type of bridge.
So I guess the liminal space is in the middle of the bridge, maybe.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
The legend of that troll, the three billy goats gruff, the
Yeah.
the troll under the
The under
bridge.
the bridge. Yeah.
There's actually a lot of cultures that have that kind of legend. And Scandinavian folklore, I think, is where the original troll idea came from. But about trolls living under the bridges, and travelers had to be wary about crossing
Hmm.
because the troll, I think in the Billy Goat's Gruff, it was they had to answer some questions in order to cross over. But this legend highlights the fact that bridges are considered these liminal spaces where you might have to confront challenges in order to proceed forward to the next thing.
Hmm.
There's also, and I love a good King Arthur type tale. One of my favorite
Oh, yeah.
all-time movies. It's an old movie, but it's it's the King Arthur legend. It's Excalibur.
Hmm.
That movie based on that legend is one of my favorite King Arthur stories. But in some versions of the King Arthur legend, Sir Lancelot has to cross this bridge called the Bridge of Souls in order to
Oh,
rescue Guinevere.
uh-huh.
And this bridge is often depicted as this narrow, treacherous, wow,
Wow.
um, bridge that symbolizes the difficult journey between two states of being or two different realms, which I thought was pretty
Mm.
cool.
Said so a liminal space.
Yes. So bridges.
So
Bridges can be
bridges.
liminal spaces.
Yes.
Yes.
Another physical liminal space can be hallways or corridors. And I was very
Ooh.
intrigued by this one because you have like circulation like everywhere. Like hallways and corridors are used for circulation of spaces, right?
Mm-hmm.
And every single space has a hallway, like whatever it may be. You don't just walk into your living room and then boom, it's a door to the bathroom. And then from the bathroom, it's to the kitchen.
Unless you live in a studio apartment.
But then in the studio apartment, you tend to not have that many walls.
That's
It's
true.
usually
It's
just
all
something.
one.
Yeah.
There is no hallway because
And
it's
then there
all
is no
one.
liminal space in there.
Ooh.
So
Except for the doorway, because the bathroom is usually its own
that's
room.
true. That's true.
Yeah.
Unless if it's like this weird, awkward, squatty potty type of thing, which
Oh,
you would
I
have
have
nightmares about.
potty
Yeah.
nightmares. Yeah, the potty would be in the middle of the living room and my nightmares. Anyway,
So,
moving on.
yes, so these hallways and corridors are transitional spaces within buildings that connect different rooms or areas. So that
You know what
median
makes
space, I feel like it's because, I don't know, I think of a liminal space not having a real quote purpose, like the middle, like the inside of it, it's not quote having a purpose. So, like a corridor
what?
is the purpose to get to other rooms, but itself is
Yes.
not a
It's
functional room that you
the
spend
whole,
time in.
yeah, the whole purpose of a hallway is to move
Same
to
with
a
like a
different
doorway and a
location.
bridge.
But
Like you don't spend
what
time in those spaces.
what was that hotel, the haunted hotel that crazy man that killed people? It was one of the
Oh,
um that series that we like. The uh had the season 3 was coming. American Horror Story.
American Horror Story. Yes.
Yes, there was one season about the hotel.
Hmm.
And you remember those creepy hallways in that hotel? You had hallways that led to
I
nowhere.
don't remember that season as much. I've
I think
rewatched all of the seasons like several times, and I think it's starting to be time to rewatch those again because we have spooky season coming up, and I'm so
we
excited.
do. But
So,
I think that might have
but
been
I
the
haven't seen it in a
first
while.
season that I actually watched. Because I tried to
See,
watch the first season and I didn't get into it. And then
yeah,
everybody was talking
everything
about
was
it.
so confusing. You have to wait till the end, and Hotel was the same way. All of them are the same way. You're confused. You're like, what the fuck is going
Yeah.
on? And then all of it
Which
comes in together at the end, which is fine.
which is great. Once you get that that's their thing, then I loved it, but I was too stupid to put
It
it
took a
together on the
while.
first.
Yeah,
Yes.
it took a while to get into that type of show because you're just confused most of the time.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah,
But once I
from
realized that's what it was, I got it. But
from what I remember of the hotel, I guess yes, the hallways are creepy, liminal spaces.
yes, very creepy.
Hmm.
Creepy.
It was,
Anyway,
I mean, that was, you're making me have flashbacks of the show, and now like
well,
bits and pieces are coming to me. Anyways, let's
and
continue. Let's
I
continue.
think that place you can actually go and visit now. I think that hotel was a real hotel.
Based off a real hotel?
Yeah, because the guy who built it, it was just like in American
Hmm.
Horror Story. He was a murderer. He
I didn't,
So,
I
and I
haven't done
think
any
that you
research
can
on it or
go,
anything,
I think you can go to that hotel, and if you wanted to do liminal magic, holy shit, what a place to go and do that.
but also be safe.
Yeah, Ren's like, no. And I'm like, yeah,
No,
let's go to it.
I'm good. So another space, which we've talked about this one, is crossroads can be
Oh,
liminal,
yeah.
physical liminal
Hmm.
spaces. So this is where you have intersections that have multiple paths. So it could be like a four-way stop, or I mean, you have so many. I mean,
Hmm. Hmm.
often these spaces are often considered powerful in folklore and magic. A lot of things happen at crossroads, more than it just being a liminal space. But in this episode, we're talking about liminal spaces, and crossroads are that.
Yeah, and I think it's because that is a point where you have so many different places you can go to. Like,
Hmm.
think of a 5 points. There's 5 points in different cities, and you have so many choices as where you can go, and that makes it a powerful space,
Yeah.
this in between space, because it depends on which you choose as to what's going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. And then
Hmm.
you also have staircases. So staircases are spaces that connect the different floors or levels of a building. And so that is also a liminal space. Now,
I didn't ever think of that.
off of staircases, would an elevator be a liminal space?
Yes.
Now, an elevator is a creepy liminal
I
space, and
don't
I
like
don't like it.
elevators. I don't like elevators
I
at all. I
no,
wonder if that's
I don't
why.
either. But you have issues.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
You have
I'll be here all week. Yes,
you have claustrophobia issues.
I
I do
do.
too, but not as severe as you.
Yeah,
I'm
no, I'm
okay in an
bad.
elevator,
I'm
but
not.
you're not. And so I think
Mhm.
that's one of the reasons why you don't like elevators. I don't like elevators because I learned about the elevator game and then it gives me anxiety. Let's not delve.
Yes. Oh,
Um,
that we should do an episode on that.
okay, write it down.
Okay. All right.
So another physical liminal space can be borders and boundaries. So we have geographic or political boundaries between countries, states, and other territories that can act as a said liminal space. Um,
Now, that's interesting because I feel like humans
we set those.
make political. Now,
Yes.
geographic barriers, yes, a mountain
Yes.
range, I think would
And like a
be,
valley and all of that would be a good liminal space.
but a
Um,
political boundary, does that really have
eh,
power? I don't
I
know.
mean, if you think about it, everyone, let's say you live in the States, because I live in the
Hmm.
States and or you live in Europe, or you live
Hmm.
anywhere that there's a harsh line between one country or one state and another.
Hmm.
So everybody holds that. So it's sort of like a tulpa.
I
Everybody
see.
holds that knowledge. So it makes it something. Like it makes that a liminal space, whether it was initially before humans made it or not, it can now be a liminal space if you want to think about it like that. Because if you live in the States, you're like, oh, yep, that person lives in Georgia and I live in Alabama,
Yeah,
and there's a
and
divide there.
there is. And I think people also make connotations here in the States. Oh, that person's from Alabama. That person's from Kentucky. That
Yeah,
person's
and
from
you have,
Missouri,
yeah.
whatever.
Hmm.
And everybody
Or
has these thought
you're
processes of
just
how
traveling.
different it is. Yeah.
You're just traveling. And so you're like, okay, I got to go through this state, and this state to get there. Everyone has the states. Like the states aren't something that is like this fabricated thing. Like everybody knows,
Hmm.
okay, we have 50 states, there's
Hmm.
lines and they have
Hmm.
shapes and et cetera, et cetera.
Hmm.
So I think of those as like
Okay.
more liminal
I buy
spaces.
that. I buy it. Okay.
And then this one's my favorite. It's abandoned places.
Our liminal
Are
spaces.
liminal
That's
spaces
interesting. Okay.
because these locations that were once inhabited or used but are now deserted hold that energy of both past and potential future use. So
Like,
I think of liminal spaces as, I don't know how to describe it, awkward. There are these awkward spaces that maybe we need, like a doorway or a hallway, but they're
hmm,
awkward in the way that they are only functional for that use. Only one use, basically. A doorway, you only use it to get in and out of a
to go
space.
in and out. Yeah.
Yeah, a hallway, you only use it to go in and out of a space. Maybe you decorate it. Maybe it's a cute hallway, but that does not deter from the fact that it is this awkward space to get from one place
Interesting.
to another. So I think of abandoned places in the same way. It's in an awkward time of itself. Like it used to maybe be inhabited and booming and full of energy and life, and now it's empty. It's in that awkward space.
Like a
Maybe
ghost
it's
town.
yeah, maybe it's in like this weird transition of happy booming. It's empty now, but
And
maybe it'll be
now,
happy and booming again later. But right now, it's in its
interesting.
liminal space. It's in its awkward phase, like
That's
when we
like,
were all 13.
ghost towns,
Oh, come on,
like you
laugh at my
said.
joke. Wait, laugh at my joke. That was a good joke. Like that was a
It
joke
was a
on
good job.
purpose, not like oh, Ren, you're so funny and I'm looking at you like, what did I say? That was a real joke, okay?
That one was on purpose, guys.
Yes, that one was purposeful and nobody laughed. Ha
No,
ha
I
ha.
was I was thinking too much about ghost towns. You got the abandoned thing, got me my brain going. And
Yes,
so
yes, yes.
I'm thinking about these ghost towns as being these haunted places. And you, like you said, they were once full of life and laughter and drinking and parties and life in general. And now they're empty, but they do still hold that energy of
Hmm.
the past.
Yep.
And that does, I think, make them kind of liminal.
Hmm.
And the mystery of what could have been if that railroad hadn't been put in down the road and making this place a ghost town or whatever.
Hmm.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
I think
Interesting.
I feel like it's very interesting to think about liminal spaces in itself, because before I was like, what the heck is a liminal space? Like, what are you
Yeah. What does
saying?
that
What are you
mean?
talking about?
Yeah.
And while
Mm-hmm.
digging deeper into liminal spaces and how you can use them in your craft, but just in general, what a liminal space is, they're those awkward, I think of them as awkward times and spaces. Like,
Mm-hmm.
of course, there's a use, but it's a weird use. If you think about doorways, they are kind of weird, but they're
Mm-hmm.
functional and we need them. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. And then
That's interesting.
last but not least of what I have on physical liminal spaces. Now, this does not, like, this small little list of like 7 things that I'm listing out is not, they're not the only liminal spaces.
Right.
These are just ones that I thought were kind of cool, and maybe you can integrate these easier into your craft than other liminal spaces.
Mm-hmm.
So the last one I'm going to talk about, physical ways, in the physical liminal
Liminal
space,
spaces. Yes.
is ruins. So
Ooh.
ruins are remnants of buildings or structures from the past, sort of like an abandoned space, but these embody the passage of time and history.
Like the Roman
So,
ruins.
like, yes, so, or like Egypt, Egypt
Oh yeah.
ruins.
Mm-hmm.
um I love thinking about that. Now, have I ever had a chance to sit down and go to a ruins or see parts of ruins? And no, but I thought it
You
was really
studied
cool.
them though.
I
I
studied
remember
them.
you told me about some classes that you took that had
Yes, and
ruins.
those
That's
were some
cool.
of my favorite classes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But yes, so I think ruins would be really cool. And I guess you could kind of clump that in together with like maybe abandoned places, maybe ruins are abandoned, or maybe they're like a tourist area right now
Mm-hmm.
type of thing. I don't
Interesting.
know.
Yeah, because I feel like abandoned places could be fairly current, whereas
Yes,
ruins,
they
that
could be
gives me the
old.
thought of being really
When I think
old. Yeah.
ruins, like don't think of ruins, I don't know, what the Colosseum type of
Yeah.
vibe.
I always
That's
think of the Roman
Yeah,
ruins.
that's a ruins. And so if you go there, that's a cool, I feel like large liminal space, because you're standing there trying to envision what once occurred there, like all the
Well,
energy and all of the
think
chaos
of the
and
death.
everything that happened there. Exactly.
Yeah. The
And so,
power that that place must hold.
yes.
I
So
wonder, are you allowed to go into the middle of the Colosseum? Is that open
I don't
to,
know. I've never
I don't
toured.
know
I've
either. I've
never
never been over there.
but I would assume so. Like, I mean, it's open to the
I mean, I
public,
know
like when
it's, yeah,
you
it's
buy
a
tickets
tourist
or
spot.
something. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Interesting.
I don't know.
Well, beyond the physical liminal spaces, you've got temporal liminal spaces. Wow, say that 10 times fast.
Temporal
So,
liminal spaces, temporal.
oh, she can do it. Look at you go.
Woo! The only good thing
Um,
I can do.
oh, Lord. So, twilight and dawn, the times of day between night and day, those are definitely liminal spaces known for their mystical power, I
hmm
guess.
hmm
You've got midnight and noon, which are the turning points in the day. Although midnight and noon are also man-made constructs. That's not the time, like noon Eastern Standard Time or noon Eastern Time is not the the time. 12 o'clock is not in between daylight and nighttime,
hmm
because in the summer you've got the long days. So really the light is, maybe it might be 3 o'clock in the afternoon that you're at that spot. So
Yeah.
anyway, I don't know about midnight and noon as being as liminal as the actual true time in between light and dark. You've got the equinoxes. Those are definitely liminal spaces. Those are the points in the year when day and night are of equal length. It marks the seasons and the changing of the seasons. So
hmm
those, I think equinoxes are liminal spaces for sure. And then I read solstices could also be liminal spaces, which those are the longest day of the year
Ooh,
and the shortest day of the
I
year.
like that one.
Hmm. And then the transitions between the seasons, like that transition between winter and spring and summer and fall, are also liminal spaces, but they're not physical. Like it's not like, oh, I'm going to go to the bridge. They're they're temporal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Try to boggle like my mind is boggled.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have psychological and consciousness liminal spaces.
Okay.
Please stay with me. The physical spaces, you're like, yeah, okay. And then you get into the temporal spaces and you're like, okay. And now I'm
Okay.
like psychological and consciousness. You're like, you lost me. Um, so these can be different types of maybe dream states.
Oh yeah. Oh
So
yeah. We were just talking
yeah.
about that. Yeah.
So this can be the space between wakefulness and sleep, where maybe your
Mm-hmm.
subconscious mind becomes more active. Like as it starts to become more active, this can
Mm-hmm.
be a liminal space. Meditative states can also be liminal spaces because they're
Mm-hmm.
between moments of deep meditation where one is between full consciousness and in that transit state, which
Mm-hmm.
I'm always trying to get into a transit state and I just can't because my brain always thinks and thinks and thinks.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
And then you have the hypnotic states kind
Mm-hmm.
of where you have the transitional states of consciousness experienced when falling asleep and waking up. Now, I can never remember those transitions,
Me either.
but
Me
they
either.
are considered liminal spaces. So maybe if you're
Hmm.
somebody who can what's the word? Lucid dream and all of
Yes.
that, then maybe
That's
you
a liminal
are,
space.
yes,
Yeah.
that's also a
Yeah.
liminal space, but I'm talking about like if you are one to do that, then maybe you are aware of when you wake up and when you fall asleep. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
maybe if you're someone who can do that, you can utilize these types of liminal spaces.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's also altered states of consciousness, which are induced by meditation, trance, or certain substances.
Oh
Um,
yes. Yes.
these states provide access to different levels of awareness, and this can
Mm-hmm.
also be considered a liminal space of consciousness.
I agree with that. I think so. And then there's also social and cultural liminal spaces, which gets even a little more weird out there. So think of rites of passage, like marriage. Marriage is the one that comes to mind right off the bat.
Oh,
You're
mhm.
going from a single life to a joined, united life. That marriage ritual is a liminal space because you're in between both of those single and
So
and united.
you're talking about just the ceremonies in general, not like the
Yeah, the
marriage.
rites, the
Okay.
rites of
Okay, okay,
passage,
okay, okay.
the actual birthing of a child. You're going from being a family unit of however many before to adding another one after,
Hmm.
or life and death, obviously. Dying is a liminal space, which who knows how slow or how fast that might happen,
Hmm.
depending on how you die.
Yeah.
Festivals and carnivals are considered liminal spaces because
Oh,
it's a time when normal society rules and roles are kind of suspended. You go and it's like a festival. It's a time of celebration. You're not in your normal, I go to work from 8 to 5 or
okay.
whatever.
I,
Um,
my brain took it to the extremes of like you said, like normal societal roles are temporarily suspended. I was like, yeah, but you can't go murder people. Like my
well, and
brain jumped to the extreme.
my brain was jumping to, yeah, and you can't go naked. So
Oh
that
wow.
that tells you where
So
both
yeah,
of our
yeah.
brains
My
are.
brain went to murder, yours went to being naked. We are not the same.
We are not the same. Oh, and then waiting rooms and queues. This one was interesting to me. When you're waiting your turn, like at the DMV to get your driver's license, they said that is a liminal space. You're in a place of transition. I guess that does make sense
I
because,
mean, you do have
especially
a
for teenagers, you're not able to drive,
oh,
and then you are able to drive, and that is a time of
but
change.
again, think of my awkward commentary.
Yes.
This is a weird because the DMV is not open when you're not in work. You know, like
Mm-hmm.
you leave work at 5, DMV's closed.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to be out of work. It's out of your normal routine.
Mm-hmm.
It's in this awkward space that smells probably really bad and is dingy because you have so many people there. And
Yeah.
and it's just weird. It's just
You've
this
got all
weird environment that
that
you're not
energy
in.
of
Yeah.
those people who are
The
all
angst.
anxious.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes. And
yes.
so the energy's off, your environment, you're not in your normal schedule routine. You're weird, you're near weird, angsty people.
Hmm.
It's just a weird, awkward time. I think of liminal
So
spaces as awkward.
go ahead and whip out your crystals and do some magic while you're at the DMV.
That is exactly what we're saying.
You might not want to do
You
that.
need to do some DMV magic.
Let's do
You.
some DMV magic. Train stations and airports. And this, as soon as I thought train
Oh.
station, I'm like, platform 9 3/4.
Oh, I was thinking you're gonna get
Yes.
arrested if you try to pull anything out.
And that's true too. Yeah.
DMV train station
But
arrests.
I mean, places of transit where people go in between destinations, which I guess like subways could also be a liminal space.
Eat fresh. Sorry. That just went through my head when you said Subway.
So you're so weird. But that was really funny.
You just said it. It was like I had, anyways. Yes.
Anyway, yes, moving on. Online virtual spaces. We keep trying to bring this
Oh yeah, we're
techno
trying
stuff
to
into
incorporate it a little bit.
lives, but digital environments where interactions occur without physical presences, like chat rooms, social media. Those are liminal spaces, which
Mhm.
I had never really thought of that before.
I guess yeah, they are.
They are.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I never thought about that either. But let's talk about some natural liminal spaces. So you're like,
Mm-hmm.
what the heck are you talking about? You already said physical,
Mm-hmm.
These are natural, naturally caused by the planet, our Mother Earth. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So caves and grottos. So these
Okay.
are natural spaces that can represent entrances to maybe the underworld or other
Ooh.
mystical realms. So these act as awkward liminal spaces. Because
I agree with
I feel
that.
like a cave is sort of like a long doorway, hallway combination type of thing.
Caves are creepy. I mean, how many horror movies have we
Oh,
seen with
I know.
caves? They really are creepy. But there's actually in Roman mythology, there was a prophet. She was a woman, prophetess,
Hmm.
I guess, and she lived in a cave near Naples. And this cave was supposed to be a liminal space, and she was able to communicate with the gods, and she delivered prophecies to the
Oh,
people.
okay.
And that cave was seen as a threshold, like you said, to the
Hmm.
divine and to the underworld. So,
Oh.
so I can see caves being a
See,
place of liminal.
and caves aren't such a terrible spot to do some magic. You won't get arrested like if you try to do it on the
True.
subway
Yeah, let's not do this on the subway.
or in the
Eat fresh.
DMV. Eat fresh. So you can also have these natural liminal spaces on mountaintops. So these are
Yes.
high places that connect the earth and the sky. I really like that. And often seen as a sacred or I guess in many cultures and beliefs, you can see it as closer to the divine.
Well, you know what I think about when I think of mountains is a lot of mountain ranges are formed by tectonic plates.
Hmm.
And that is a liminal space between two tectonic plates coming together. I mean, that's like
Mm.
on a Gaia level, two tectonic plates slamming together and then forming this mountain.
Hmm.
I mean, that
That's true. That's true.
I think mountains would be enormous,
I mean, I
powerful
feel like
liminal spaces.
anything like that that's in like, but then I've been saying awkward. Caves aren't awkward and mountaintops aren't
That's
awkward.
true.
I feel like that's because these are natural. I don't know.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
These are from, this is what the earth gave us to
That's
use.
true. That's true.
So, but then the earth can also provide like crossroads and stuff like
That's
that as
true.
well.
Mm-hmm.
Another natural liminal space can be rivers or streams.
It's
So
me.
sorry.
I'm a liminal
You
space.
are liminal space.
I'm something.
And so these bodies of water that can flow and change represent movement and transition. And so these themselves are liminal spaces.
I can see that.
So you need to hop on a boat on a river and do some magic.
But don't hurt my back because I really am not that strong. It took her a minute. But
I
okay.
was like, what the
What?
fuck are you talking about?
I have
get
lived
it.
all my life
I
with
get
these
it.
stupid jokes, so
Uh-huh.
it's just there.
I
I'm
get it.
sorry.
I get it. I'm so sorry. I was like, were you trying to pull out of your
Yeah.
ass? Okay.
Thanks, Mom, for this name. I mean, it's a beautiful name. I like it. I can't complain because I've seen some names out there that I would prefer not to have. But really, you know how many jokes that
It's all
anyway.
right. It's
It's a
all
whole
right. It's
different
fine.
story.
At least you
It's
weren't
fine.
named Desert, which is what I'm talking about next.
Good segue. All right.
So, deserts can also be another liminal space with the vast empty spaces that kind of have a sense of timelessness and maybe isolation. These deserts can often be used for spiritual journeys or vision quests as well. So
Hmm.
I feel like if you're near a desert, is Arizona
I think there's
desert
deserts out
like?
there. All the
I
people
don't
out
know.
there
I've
going,
never,
oh my
there's
God.
this face
Well,
palm.
it's like
I'm
that
sorry.
whole episode that I pronounced the native culture out there wrong. That was horrible.
I'm so sorry.
That was skinwalking, wasn't it? I
Yeah,
think it was. I'm
we
so
talked about
sorry.
skinwalkers. Okay, and
Please forgive
then
us.
let's not dwell. Let's not dwell.
Moving on.
We've been there, done that. Apologize. So sorry.
Hmm.
We are. So the next one is beaches and shorelines. So this is where the area where land and water meets. I like this one as well,
I do
but
too.
beaches give me anxiety because I hate the water. It's a whole thing. But this is where you have constant change with the tides and the waves. You have
Hmm.
high tide, low tide. It's
Hmm.
never the same. And so I feel like this is a really good liminal space. And then last but not least, you have forests and edges. So this is the boundary between cultivated land and wildlife forest areas. That's also a liminal space.
I like that. And think about forests that give way to meadows in the middle of the
Oh
forest.
yeah.
That would be a great
That's a
liminal
great liminal
space as
space.
well.
Yes.
Okay, so now that we've talked about what is liminal witchcraft?
Yes.
So, liminal witchcraft is a practice that focuses on harnessing the energies of these liminal spaces and times and all of that, the in-betweens. Um, and many liminal witches believe that these in-between places are really full of magical power, which makes them ideal for magic working, spell work, transformative work, divination, and connecting with the spiritual realm.
Hmm. Yeah, I agree with that. And I say I agree with that because I feel like liminal witchcraft is also awkward in
Mm-hmm.
a way.
Mm-hmm.
It can be done anywhere, but I feel like if you pick a spot mentally or physically,
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot
Or
of ways that
socially
or
or
socially that
culturally.
you can exactly. There's a lot of ways that you can use liminal craft, and I feel
Mm-hmm.
like I would get confused and muddled because I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I have so many options. I don't know what to pick, and then I just never do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So ways to practice liminal witchcraft
Okay.
are to understand the kind of steps. So threshold rituals are a part
Okay.
of liminal craft. So I like this because it's sort of threshold rituals, you'll understand. So you can stand in a doorway with 1 foot in each space. So like you're in the middle, so you have one
Mm-hmm.
foot, let's say you're in the kitchen, 1 foot in the living room, so that
Mm-hmm.
1 foot in each space. And then you focus on a specific intention or transition you want to bring into your life. And then you can visualize the doorway as a passage from your current state to the desired outcome and step through it with purpose.
I like that idea.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
And
there
I feel
are,
like I gave the wrong example. I said kitchen, living room. I feel like this is a good way, a good place. Excuse me. Let's start over. I feel like the front door of your house would be
oh,
a good liminal space for you to use for this specific use.
okay. That's
Because
not where I thought you were going.
okay.
I thought you were going to go from the living room to the kitchen because you're all about the food.
Oh, Wow, you're roasty. You're on it today. You are on it.
It's been a long ass day. I'm sorry.
Yes, but no, okay. So I was saying that the front door would be great because you could
Yes.
either go into your home with
Mm-hmm.
the intention of you're bringing that good and like that good energy and a new
Mm-hmm.
desired outcome into your home, or you can visualize it as stepping outside, having your current state leave. Ow, I hit my
Or
hand.
another way
Leave.
to do that. Yeah, she's making wild
I'm like,
gestures.
woo.
But think about it as when you step from the outside chaotic world, like I had a shitty day at work today. And so coming home, I was going through that threshold of leaving that chaos behind and coming home to my
Hmm.
sanctuary.
Hmm.
So that also is a liminal space
Yes.
where I left behind the day
Hmm.
and embraced the night
That is true.
that,
That is true.
I'm
I
home
see. I
with
feel
my
like there's a
family.
lot of things like it's very open. So whatever you want to use, you can use it in any way that it resonates with
Hmm.
you. And I really like that. It's kind of versatile,
Yeah,
however you say it.
I found some legends about doorways because I was very curious because
Hmm.
that is the number one thing you think of when you think about liminal spaces. It's, oh, a doorway. So in many cultures, they believe in household spirits that inhabit these thresholds. So in Slavic folklore, there is the domovoi. I don't know if I pronounced that right. It's a household spirit that protects the home, but can also cause mischief if not respected. And so
Mm.
offerings are often left at the threshold to appease these spirits.
Hmm.
And then in Japanese folklore, there is the rokurokubi, and those are women who appear normal during the day, but whose necks can stretch to great lengths at nighttime.
Oh.
And they often haunt doorways and other
Oh.
transitional spaces, embodying
Mm-mm.
that eerie, like you said, awkward, eerie nature of liminality.
But why do their necks have to stretch?
I
Ugh.
don't know.
Mm-mm. I don't like it because I could just
Crazy.
imagine them standing in the doorway with their weird bent neck upside down next to ugh.
Mm-hmm.
No,
I
no,
know.
thank you.
No, no,
No,
no.
thank you. Um, you also have a doorway liminal spell
Yes,
for
tell us a spell.
transformation
Tell
and
us, tell
new
us.
beginnings. So
Okay.
we're adding a little bit more spells and
We're
stuff.
trying to
More
be more witchcrafty.
woo. Um,
Woo.
as if we already weren't.
I know. I think we are. But anyway.
So, this spell is designed to harness the transformative energy of a doorway,
Okay.
symbolizing the threshold between the old and the new. So, it's ideal for setting intentions for new beginnings, whether you're starting a new project, moving to a new home, or embarking, wow, on a personal transformation, whatever it may be.
Hmm.
So, some materials you'll need, these you're not confined by these whatsoever. If you feel like you need
Right.
something else or take
Hmm.
something out, please do. So, a small candle, which could be white for purity, green for growth, any color that
A
resonates,
color, Nate. I like that word actually.
any color that resonates with your intention. And then you're going to need a bowl of salt or a crystal, such as clear quartz. I know you said amethyst
Amethyst.
for grounding, but it can be any crystal that resonates with you.
Hmm.
And then a piece of paper and a pen. That's pretty simple.
Hmm.
And then a small dish, cauldron, bucket, whatever you want to safely burn the paper in. And then this is optional. You can add some essential oils like lavender or rosemary for anointing the candle. That's
Okay.
optional.
Okay.
So, to prepare for this, you're going to cleanse your space. You're going to
Hmm.
ensure that the doorway and surrounding areas are clean. You can sweep the threshold, which I do suggest. And always, if it's your
Hmm.
front door, always sweep out, never in.
Hmm.
So,
Hmm.
you can sweep the threshold with a broom to symbolically clear away any old or stagnant energy. And then you're going to set your intention. So, you're going to spend a few moments in quiet reflection. Think about what new beginning or transformation you want to bring into your life, whatever it may be,
Hmm.
and be clear and specific in your mind. Then you're going to have some spell steps.
Hmm.
You're going to stand in the doorway with one foot on either side, like I was saying a little bit earlier.
Right.
Take 3 deep breaths, inhaling peace and clarity, exhaling any doubt or negativity. Then you're going to anoint the candle with any essential oils if you chose to do that, from the base of the wick while focusing on your intention. Then you're going to light the candle and place it on one side of the doorway.
Okay.
Now, this is the grounding element. So then you're going to place the bowl of salt or crystal on the other side of the doorway.
Okay.
This will serve as a grounding element, anchoring your intention to the physical world. So then you're going to write your intention or wish for your transformation on the piece of paper. Be clear and specific. We've talked about this.
Mm-hmm.
Fold the piece of paper 3 times, focusing on your intention with each fold. So then you're going to hold the folded paper in your hands and stand while you're standing in the doorway.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to recite the following cantation aloud, silently. It can be a different cantation. It could just be a feeling, an emotion. But here's something that you can use if you are like, you're like, oh, I can't think of anything. You can use this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, between the worlds, I stand in this place, seeking transformation, I call on grace. With open heart and focused mind, new beginnings now I find. As I step through this sacred door, I leave behind what was before. Embracing change, I now renew. With this spell, my wish comes true.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Good
And
job.
then, woo, I try not to mess that up.
Woo-woo.
And then you're going to carefully light the folded paper with the candle flame and place it in the dish, cauldron, bucket, whatever it may be, to burn completely. It needs to burn completely.
Mm-hmm.
And as it burns, you're going to visualize your intention taking shape and becoming reality. So step through, fully through the doorway, moving from the old into the new. So as you do this, imagine yourself stepping into that new phase of your life, leaving behind the past, kind of embracing the future.
Mm-hmm.
And then allow the candle to burn down safely or extinguish it if you need to, while taking the energies and any deities or spirits you invoked.
Mm-hmm.
Not taking, thanking, don't take them.
I'm going to take you with me and put you in my pocket.
Yeah, thank them.
Thank
And then
them.
dispose of the ashes from the burned piece of paper in any place that you dispose, like a natural place, fireplace, whatever it may be, such as burying them in the earth. I like that because
Whatever.
you can
Mm-hmm.
ground your intention that way.
Mm-hmm.
And then take a moment to reflect on the spell and your new beginning, and then trust that the energy you've sent in motion will work towards manifesting your intention. This liminal spell performed in the doorway can help harness that power of transformation, transition, helping you step into that new desired life more confidently, if
I
that's how you want to look at
love
it.
that. That
Mhm.
was awesome.
Yeah,
I love
liked
that.
it. Mhm.
Yes. You can also, another ritual or liminal magic that you can do is twilight and dawn meditations.
Oh, that sounds nice.
Yeah, use that gentle energy of twilight and dawn for meditation, reflection. It's a perfect setting for doing your intentions, seeking guidance from your higher self, connecting to the spirit world. You know, there's actually some folklore about
Oh.
twilight and dawn. And I think we might have talked about the wild hunt before, but the wild hunt is a spectral supernatural hunt. And I know on Supernatural, the show, they did an episode that had the wild hunt in it,
Mhm.
but it is a hunt that occurs during the twilight hours or in stormy weather, which is apparently another liminal space.
Mhm.
And they led by a god or goddess or a ghostly figure, the wild hunt sweeps through the sky, and those who witness it are taken away to the underworld or to another realm.
Oh.
And then changelings, which we have talked about, we've done an episode on changelings. That's another twilight dawn type folklore where in Celtic folklore, twilight is the time when the fairies might come to steal the human children and
Oh.
replace them with changelings.
Oh.
Because
we've talked about this, yeah.
Yeah, it was thought that the time between at dawn and dusk are when the veil are thin, and so the
Yeah.
fairies could come through and take your loved ones and leave a changeling.
Hmm.
And then seasonal celebrations. That's what, as we talked about, these are liminal times. So honor the solstices and equinoxes with rituals that reflect the changing energies of the earth.
Mm-hmm.
Create your seasonal altars, perform spells that align with the themes of the seasons. You can use symbols, colors, and items that represent the current season or the one approaching if you're doing it at a change of a season, going from summer to fall. And then this practice helps you stay connected to the natural rhythms and energies of the earth, as well as bringing in that power of the liminal spaces.
Mm-hmm. I like, I don't know. I like the seasonal celebrations a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like there's already a lot to do in the seasonal
Mm-hmm.
celebrations to try to, unless if, again, I've already said this, you can break it up into chunks where you don't necessarily have to celebrate anything. And if you just want to focus on one thing, then that's okay, et cetera, et
Well,
cetera.
and you don't have to do a full separate thing to do liminal magic. You can just have it in the back of your mind as you're doing your, say, a Sabbath to celebrate a solstice or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Keep it in the back of your mind that, hey, this is also a liminal space.
Yeah.
And, you don't have to do anything special. Just realize that there's a lot more power going on.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
That's very true. I mean, off of that, with like liminal celebrations and all of that, you can definitely work with this with dream work and keep a dream journal, journal, and pay
Another
attention.
journal.
Yes, and pay attention to the symbols and messages that appear in your dreams. And use dreams, as a tool. That was my brain. Use dreams as a tool for divination and personal insight. So try lucid dreaming, like I was talking a little bit earlier. Techniques to kind of consciously navigate the influence of your dreams instead of like, I don't know, I can't lucid dream, so it's
I can't
hard
either.
for me to say that, but
I think it's a practice. I think you really have to practice over and over and over to be able to do it.
It's so interesting to me. I mean, it's sort of like meditation as well, where you kind of
I don't do
enter
that very
states
well
of
either.
consciousness through meditation. I don't know. But I
You
mean,
have to listen to Ren's whisperings
I
with
need to make more.
Ren.
Don't advertise it. I need to make more.
Oh, okay.
I'm working on it. So, off of the meditation, you can use these states to explore your inner self, connect with spirit guides or whatever it may be to perform deep magical works within these liminal spaces. I don't know. I like the idea of meditation. I'm better at meditating than lucid dreaming.
If you live in a city or you're trying to figure out a way to bring liminal work into your practice in an urban type area, you can do airport, train station, and subway magic. And it doesn't have to be something where you
We
get
talked
arrested
about this
for.
earlier.
Yes.
You got
So
you're going to be arrested.
you could do something as simple as making a travel charm. You can create charms or talismans infused with the energy of movement and transition.
That's
And
a
you can
better way to do it.
Yes, you don't get arrested for that. Carry them with you when you're traveling or during personal transitions. Now, my husband used to travel a lot for work, and the kids and I got him a travel mouse. And it became a travel charm for him. He would take this little mouse, this little tiny stuffed mouse.
Oh, stuffed. I was picturing
a live mouse.
No, not a live mouse. Where is your brain going?
Oh, I didn't know what you were thinking.
A computer mouse.
Oh,
like a mouse. Like, I don't know, computer. I don't know. I guess I'm a computer nerd, so a mouse is what you use to click on the computer. I don't know.
It was a little stuffed mouse, and we called it his trip mouse. And so it would, the first time we did it, we snuck it into his luggage. And so he found this little stuffed mouse, and it became his trip mouse. But I think that is like a travel charm. It was a travel charm
cute.
where the kids and I were wanting to keep him safe while he was traveling. And so whenever he travels, he takes the little trip mouse. Anyway,
that's cute.
So you can do travel charms. You can do intentional wandering, which when you spend time in these locations like the airport, the train station, the subway station, you can kind of meditate. Might not be a good thing to meditate there because if you lose total consciousness, you could be in danger of getting robbed or whatnot. But
Oh,
you can use these locations to reflect. Let's put it that way. Reflect on your goals and the transitions that you're hoping to make with your life, which
mhm,
honestly, if you're sitting on a train or a plane or a subway, you've got time. You're sitting there waiting to get to the next place. So it is a
mhm.
great time to think about what transitions you might want to make in your life.
Yeah.
That flow of people and energy can help you amplify your intentions and your magic.
Hmm. I agree.
Mhm.
And I feel like um I'm really excited about your next part of Crossroads rituals.
Mhm. Yes. So, and we have talked about it. So I'm going to just talk really quickly about it. But
Hmm.
you can petition spirits at the crossroads. I mean, we've told you about the different legends, the devil at the crossroads.
Oh
Remember the
yeah.
story that we told about the blues musician, Robert Johnson? Um, and he sold his soul to the devil in exchange for the skill of playing music. So crossroads are very powerful places. So
Hmm.
you can use a crossroad to summon spirits or deities or petition for what it is that you want and leave offerings at a crossroad.
Hmm.
Um, Also, that is a great place to do decision making rituals. If you are at
Ooh.
a
Hmm.
crossroads in your life,
That's a good one.
metaphorically, you can go to a true crossroad and do a
Ooh,
ritual there to
that's
help
a
you.
it's a physical liminal space to deal with a mental liminal
Metaphorical
space.
one. Yes,
Yeah.
for sure. So, yeah, the energy of a crossroad can help you gain clarity and insight.
Hmm. Hmm. I also wonder what other witches say.
Yes. So I did a look and I found some blogs that were excellent, which I'm going to tell you about, and also Reddit, of course.
Of
So
course.
pathos.com, which we have used their blog before for uh,
Uh,
research. That's what it's called. I know. I'm like
research.
my brain went clunk. But the person that wrote Pathos, this blog, she said, when I was a little girl, I used to be obsessed with sitting and playing in doorway thresholds. She said, my
Mhm.
papa used to have a bag of seashells that he kept for me to play with when I was a kid, and I would spend hours lining up and moving the shells around while lying on my stomach inside of the threshold. As I
Um,
got older, I practiced my climbing skills on the doorway and contorting my body to fit into the space within that doorway threshold with my feet off the ground. It was a little weird, I admit, and I never slammed doors. As my instinct is to twist the knob and quietly pull them closed, even if I'm all alone. Perhaps there has always been a part of me that recognizes and is drawn to liminal spaces.
hmm.
She
Not
also,
me. Sorry.
yeah,
I was thinking not me because when I was little, I slammed the door so hard the door got stuck and my dad had to take off the doorknob and the door to get
I was going to ask you, did he take off your door as punishment?
No,
You
he didn't
can't
take it
have a
off for
door.
punishment. He just was angry and frustrated that the door got stuck. And to this day, I'm not kidding, it still doesn't close properly. Yeah, my
Well,
bad.
she also said, I think many of us who practice witchcraft also exist in liminal spaces. And this was really interesting to me. She said, liminal spaces exist in gender, sexuality, ethnic makeup, and DNA, as well as personality. Most witches that I know straddle the hedge between socially acceptable and not. We're on the outskirts of societal expectations, but it's where many of us feel most comfortable. And even if we're not comfortable there, we're often forced to inhabit that space because of who and what we are to society.
Hmm.
And I think if you've come out as a witch, then yes, that is a super true statement that, as soon to go out there and tell your Christian friend, hey, I am a witch, and you will see how quickly you end up in that awkward liminal space of
Hmm.
not being accepted. So I thought
Interesting.
that was interesting.
Way to just put it out there like that. Wow. I mean,
Well, I mean,
we know this. Like we all think about it, but we don't
yeah,
say it out loud.
yeah. And maybe we should, you know?
Yeah. I
Um,
mean, we're here. We have a
another,
podcast. I mean,
right?
we're out here.
We're out here.
Even
Uh,
yeah.
the
Anyways.
maddiviner.com blog, he or she said, if you subscribe to an energy hypothesis regarding magic, which that caught my eye because that's how I think of magic. I feel like it's the energy around us.
Hmm.
They said you might see liminal spaces as extreme confluences of this quote energy, which is then harnessed for magic. And that's exactly how I perceive magic. One might also conjecture that the individual existing momentarily between states is put into a position where literally anything seems possible, and thus the psychic sensor or other mechanism that usually prevents the manifestation of thought is bypassed. This makes me think of Schrodinger's cat.
We've
The
talked about this.
box,
Yeah.
yes, where the cat's in the box. Is the cat alive or dead? And it's both until such time as you open the box to see what it is. So it's that's a liminal space
That is
as
a liminal
well.
space, yeah. The unknown is like a liminal space.
On LinkedIn, I came across one that
Oh,
said,
LinkedIn.
yeah, isn't that interesting? It popped up and I was like, oh wow.
Hmm.
Uh, liminal spaces can be scary. They represent the unknown. Our brains like patterns and routines, and it can be especially scary if you feel like you can't find your way through these spaces. Yet they
Hmm.
also represent an amazing opportunity for personal growth. We tend to be stubborn about change. Given the choice, we would usually not bother with it. When it's out of our hands, we have no choice but to deal with it. And hopefully we embrace it and make the most of it. I thought that was very super smart.
Yeah. Hmm.
Um, liminal magic, this on Reddit, I found liminal magic allows me to step into the unknown with confidence. It's in these between spaces that I can find the most potent energies for transformation. And I think you had found a couple too.
Yeah, I mean, they're all basically saying the same thing of
Mm-hmm.
like, I
Mm-hmm.
often perform rituals at dawn or dusk when the day is transitioning. These times are naturally magical, and working during them amplifies my spells and intentions.
Mm-hmm.
Another one is liminal magic has taught me to be comfortable with ambiguity. Wow, and
Ambiguity.
ambiguity. Yes, I don't know. And uncertainty. It's in the spaces that I find most growth and insight. And then the
Mm-hmm.
last one that I found was practicing liminal magic helps me find balance between different aspects of my life. It reminds me that life is full of transitions, and learning to navigate them gracefully is key to harmony.
I
I
agree with
don't
that.
have grace in my life, so I need some of that. And I'm very I flop everywhere.
That sounds like my cat. He
Oh,
is the most ungraceful cat in the world.
I'm the most ungraceful person. It's not even funny. But that's all that we have on liminal
Yes.
spaces. And
Yeah, that
I
was
realized
fascinating.
halfway through, we didn't even talk about a drink.
Oh, well, it's been a long day. So the first thing I did when I got home was grabbed a glass of wine.
Yeah, and
So
I don't have anything. It was just gonna be like a normal, drink day. But
yeah.
it was funny because I was like, oh, did we even talk about it? I
No,
was
we
just
got excited about our
little,
haunted
yeah,
thing
our
that we did,
excursion. Yeah.
our excursion. It was fun.
So, okay. But if you like what you heard, you can find more at www.c3witchypodcast.com. There we have links to all of our social medias. I'm not going to try to list them because I never remember.
Mm-hmm.
They're all there. You can also, on our first page, I never tend to say this, but on our first page, we try to update our information so you know what episode we're on this week in both our After Dark series and our normal series. So go check it out. We also have a
Mm-hmm.
witchy quote of the month on our front page, which I think is pretty
Mm-hmm.
cool, and a little bit about us if you want to know more about us. You can also find our merch. We are transitioning. We are in a liminal space right
We
now.
are. We
And
are.
our merch, because our Lamis is now done, and so it's come to an end of this season's merch. So we're designing new ones and transitioning over from one website to another. And so right now you can still kind of buy it. We haven't taken anything down at www.c3witchypodcastmerch.com. I almost forgot it. So you can still go get it now before we get it taken down. And then you can find our newsletter where we post a newsletter every month. Our patrons get one extra page. So if you want to get our extra page, go check it out. I think that's it.
I think so. You guys are great. Thank you
Yes.
guys for listening. Give us feedback. We want to do what you all want us to do. We enjoy talking about anything. So let us know what you want us to talk about, and we'll be glad to. But we'll be back.
We'll be back.
And until then, stay witchy.
Woo.